All right, what's going on? My name is Sean Davis, and I'm coming on here because I want to come on here and give some, people who may be about to go through something which I went through 2 weeks ago today, which was a laminectomy, a back surgery of my L4, L5, and S1. Prior to my surgery was done on July the 6th, a Monday. And prior to my surgery, I was trying to find YouTube videos to where I could see, what to expect, hear what to expect, how hard the recovery process would be and things of that nature. And I really couldn't find a whole lot of recent videos. I may have found like maybe a handful at the most, but for the most part, I couldn't really find a lot of videos. And the ones that I did find were old and outdated. Some were like 5, 6, 8 years, 10 years, and I didn't even realize that, those surgery, this surgery, the laminectomy surgery was, going back that far. So I'm on here now to provide anybody else that may be, on the fence about having the surgery, because I was one of those people that was on the fence about having the surgery. I was very nervous, had never had a surgery of that nature, of that type before, but it was something that I had been dealing with for quite some time in regards to sciatica pain. For those that don't know about sciatica pain, and I know there's a lot of people who do, but I've been dealing with this whole back issue since 1996, when I was in the military. I'm a Army veteran of 21 years in the Army, and during PT one day, I had an incident that happened, and my back just basically gave out. Put me in the long story short, put me in the hospital for about a week. At that point, for that week, I really couldn't even. After I got out of the hospital, I couldn't even stand up straight. I was kind of like on quarters for about 72 hours or so, and it took a few days about a week before my back where I could stand straight up. Every time I would try to push myself up and stand straight up, as soon as I didn't have anything to support me being upright, my back would automatically have me bend over like that, automatically. So I dealt with that for a while, but either way, I had dealt with that through my whole military career from 96 to when I retired in 2013. I would have back spasms, so forth and so on throughout my career and things like that. I just kept having it. I just dealt with it. You know what I'm saying? I still did my PT test, my AFPFT. I did that my whole military career. When it came down to it, my last year before retirement, I ended up doing the 2.5 mile walk instead of the 2 mile run. That was the only time in which I did that. But then I retired shortly thereafter. But back to the surgery portion of it. So I knew the surgery was coming. Like I said, it was on July the 6th. Today is what, the 20th? Yes. 14 days, 2 weeks exactly post-op of the surgery. And I had went on YouTube, like I was stating, to try and just find, information and get some insight on what I was to expect from this surgery. And so with that, I couldn't find a whole lot. So I'm providing this for anyone who may be contemplating on having the surgery here in the near future and stuff like that. So day one of the surgery, went into surgery July the 6th, and everything, went in there. My surgery was, I had to be there like 6 o'clock in the morning. I believe my surgery was scheduled for 11 a.m. I want to say they took me back, prepped me and did everything, and took me back into I was probably in my prep room, in the actual prep room, for maybe 40 minutes, if that. And then they took me back on to the operating room, and I remember rolling back into the operating room. Of course, I've got all my IV in my hand and things like that. I remember them rolling me into the operating room, all the bright lights. And after that, I remember nothing else. The next thing I remember was being put in my recovery room, where my wife and my daughter was waiting on me. And I was out of it. I remember waking up briefly, seeing them and being wheeled into the room, and then I was out again. So that was real brief. And I was asleep. I don't even remember how long I slept for after that. But I will say that was, I woke up, once I did finally wake up from, the anesthesia and all of that and the surgery, I was in quite a bit of pain. I was probably at a 6 or 7, of course, they giving me meds, but it wasn't like unbearable. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like, oh, please hurry up and give me some pain meds or whatever. It wasn't nothing like that. I was just in pain, of course, you know what I'm saying? It's a major surgery. I feel like a lot of people say it was very even my doctor said it's non-invasive, but when you're just working on someone's back, it is what it is. And you're always nervous about that part. But either way, I woke up in a pain and stuff like that. Of course, because of the tube down your throat, I didn't have a pain. I heard some people describing having a sore throat because of the tube, the breathing tube that's down your throat. I didn't have that. I didn't have that sore throat feel. What I did have, I had something that felt like that was just lodged in my throat and I couldn't get it to go down. That's what I felt. And I had that, and that was more, it didn't hurt. It was just aggravating. It irritated the hell out of me. The fact that it was something there and I felt like I couldn't swallow it, you know what I'm saying, and get it down my throat. So that bothered me for a while, and that lasted for a while. That lasted for probably about a week. But either way, that night, same day of surgery, definitely a hard time sleeping. You know what I'm saying? They gave me Percocet. That was my pain meds and stuff like that. Percocet. Definitely a hard time sleeping. Waking up throughout the night, not necessarily needing pain meds. They managed. I will say they managed my pain very, very well. They really did. They managed my pain very, very well. I never was in such excruciating pain at no point during this process. But day one, day one post-op, that's when it was really set in regards to what everything was going on. I had site pain from where the incision was. I had just stiffness in my back. Just pain, period. Again, I wasn't so bad to where I couldn't bear it, but it was very, very, very noticeable. And that was day one. And then I had to, speak to occupational therapy. I had a little drain tube that was in my back, a tube that was in my back that was draining any fluid like blood and stuff like that they was monitoring on a day-to-day and stuff like that. And so it was 3 things in which I had to do to be able to be released from the hospital. One was occupational therapy. I had to make sure occupational therapy came in and gave a good word on everything in which they needed me to do, which wasn't much. They just told me a few things in which on how I should probably get to which they had a hip replacement kit, which you can get on Amazon. A hip replacement kit. It helps with being able to, function once you leave the hospital, being able to put your socks on, being able to put your pants on and stuff like that. Things of that nature. The other thing I had to do, I had to be able to pass gas. That was something that was the second thing I had to do. And what was the third? Oh, and the third thing was that I couldn't, the fluid tube, the fluid tube that was in my back, the bag could not, it had to be under 30 milliliters, had to be less than 30 milliliters of fluid being pushed out throughout a certain period of time. I could forget how long it was, but it had to be less than that. 30, I think it was 30 milliliters. I think that's what it was. But either way, it had to be, those were the three things in which I had to do. And so occupational therapy, physical therapy came by, stuff like that. I want to say, so surgery was Monday. Tuesday, physical therapy came by. I walked around. I had a walker. I had to have a walker. It's kind of almost basically, I don't even want to say that you're trying to learn how to walk all over again, because that's not really the case. I don't feel like you had to learn how to walk all over again. You just have to learn how to walk with pain, knowing that you just had surgery. That's more so what it was. So physical therapy came. I walked with a walker. We did like a lap outside of my room. First day I did. He came twice. He came in the morning, and I'd walk like in a circle, not far. And it was challenging. It wasn't real difficult, but it was just challenging being able to trying to walk, knowing your back is stiff, your back is in pain, and all of that. So that was a bit challenging, but I got through it with no problem. The biggest thing is being able to, with the incision that's on your back, being able to lay comfortably, sleep comfortably, sit comfortably. All those things are challenging things when it comes to this surgery. I'm gonna be totally honest out the gate. If you're having a laminectomy surgery, that's probably the most challenging thing, is being able to sit comfortably, lay comfortably, and just, walk comfortably when it's all said and done initially. To this day, like I said, I'm 14 days post-op, and my biggest issue now is still trying to sleep through the night, which I'm still not sleeping through the night, but everything else is pretty much easy. But you got to do a lot of things in which they tell you to do. They want you to get up and walk, every hour, stuff like that. But back to what I was saying. First off, so did that. Tuesday, my drain tube was still putting out a lot of drainage, so I wasn't where I needed to be. I pretty much had, by Tuesday night, I had pretty much passed 2 of the 3 things in which they needed me to do, which was by physical therapy, occupational therapy, and flatulation and stuff like that. But in regards to the drainage, that was the only thing that was really holding me up. So going into Wednesday, I did some more physical therapy. I walked around and stuff like that, spoke to occupational therapy. They said if they gave me, my brief in the morning saying, hey, we should be able to let you go. Because by Tuesday night, my drainage tube, my drainage bag wasn't filling up as much as it was, day of surgery and the beginning of Tuesday. So they, when Wednesday came, they was like, all right, as long as you don't, as long as your drainage bag is not filling up to that 30 milliliter or whatever it was, the number, you should be good to be let go on today. So I did get released Wednesday afternoon about 12:01, I guess it was 12 and 1 o'clock. Got released. The tube. Let me tell you about that drainage tube though. So you couldn't feel the tube. Couldn't feel it. I will say that. Could not feel the tube at all in my back. I could not feel the tube. I knew it was a little, what do you call it? Like a little compression little thing, right? It compressed, and as it fills up, it would uncompress and and go up. It would never get up like that, but that's what it was. It compressed, and as more fluid come in, it would fill up and open up and stuff. But never felt that tube, right? So now it's the day to leave. It's the day to be released and be released from the hospital. So they give everything. They give me the brief, all of that. Remove the. I had 2 IVs. I had an IV in both hands and stuff like that. So it's time. So now it's time to take out this tube, right? I've never had a drainage tube before. Never had it. Never didn't know what to expect. I didn't even know where it was. Like when I say I couldn't feel it, couldn't feel it. But when I tell you that drainage tube, when the nurse went to take out that damn drainage tube, man, when I tell you I almost passed out from the pain that joker felt, it was, man, like, I tried to explain it to my wife how it felt. And I'm gonna be honest, I have never been stabbed before. Never been stabbed or anything like that. But I felt like that's what someone who have stabbed you and removed whatever they stabbed you with out from your body, that's what I felt like it would feel like. That was one excruciating pain type thing. When I tell you, when she pulled that tube out, she was like, you're gonna feel a little pressure. You felt more than pressure. It was definitely more than just pressure. When she pulled the tube out, I almost fainted. When I say that it hurt so bad, like everything around me went almost like mute. Everything around me, the volume just dropped drastically. Like the whole volume in the room dropped. That's what made me think I was finna pass out, because the volume, I had never witnessed or experienced anything like that. I've never passed out before in my life. And that's what made me think I was about to pass out, because the volume, everything just seemed like somebody turned the volume down in the room. And for a minute, I had to gather myself. I had to sit there, and I was like it drew all the pain away from the incision site and all of that. And it just focused on whatever that tube was that was in my back. Man, it took a little minute for me to gather myself back from that. That hurt. I'm not gonna lie. That tube removal hurt. Now, I will say, once she did it, it hurt. It lasted for maybe a minute or two, and it was over with. And I haven't felt anything else of that since. But man, initially, that tube ain't no pump. But either way, now it's time to leave the hospital. I'm still walking with the walker. I'm walking pretty good with the walker and stuff like that. They wheel me downstairs or catch the elevator downstairs. My wife goes, gets a truck. She has a truck. Yeah. I just had back surgery. Now I got to try to climb up into an F-150. Now, I say that, but I say that with caution, because I think it was a no-win situation, whether I was going to either climb in a truck or squat down in a car. Either way, it was going to be a difficult task. So it was a lose-lose situation coming out of surgery, with coming out of back surgery, trying to get into any type of vehicle. I feel like it wouldn't have mattered what it was. It was going to be a task. And it was, but it wasn't that bad. It wasn't as bad as I thought. You know what I'm saying? My wife has step rails on her truck, and so that was helpful. And I was able to grab the little hand bar that you can get that's right by the door. But I grabbed it, but they tell you a couple of things a few things you cannot do. The doctor tells you cannot do. No bending, no twisting, no lifting over 5 pounds, no reaching, and no pulling. So all of these things are things in which you should know that when you come out of the hospital from your laminectomy, those are 5 things that you simply cannot do. And you can't shower for surgery, shoot, I couldn't shower for 72 hours, I believe it was, 72 hours. So because you can't get the incision site wet at all. So back to the truck. I'm trying to get in this truck. And it's a truck. I got to step on the rail to get in the truck, but I got to find a way to get my body in the truck. And I can't really bend. Remember, I can't do any bending, can't do any reaching, can't do any pulling. How am I going to get in this truck? You know what I'm saying? It's crazy because they say no bending, but I'm sure they're referring to like bending over like that. Not necessarily like I'm bent now, sitting down. I'm not bending, but I'm sitting down. So there's a difference. But it didn't really take that long. I got in the truck, put it like that. I got in the truck. It wasn't long. Wasn't sitting out there forever trying to get in the truck. Got in the truck. The ride home, we was probably about 30, 40 minutes away. The hospital was probably 30, 40 minutes away from our house. The ride having some sciatica pain down my leg, and that's what's coming again. The doctor told me every hour I need to walk, get up and walk. You know what I'm saying? Don't get stiff. Don't allow your body to get stiff. Walk, 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 walk every hour. And I was doing it. And it was sometimes in which I would try to walk for a decent amount of time. Now, rewind. I came out the hospital with my walker on that Wednesday, and I probably stopped using the walker, which I probably wasn't supposed to, but I probably stopped using the walker by Saturday. Yeah, I was no longer using the walker anymore by Saturday. I used that walker probably for a total of probably 2 to 3 days. By Saturday, I was no longer using the walker. And this could possibly be a part, but I don't know. I won't say it is, but the walker, you're not supposed to lean on it. You're just supposed to use it for balance. You're not supposed to put all your weight on it or anything like that. They told me that in the hospital. Use it for balance so that you don't fall and stuff like that. Use it for balance. Don't put all your weight. Don't try to use it, like that. Just use it for balance to help you get down to where you need to go. So I did that, right? So with that being said, hold on. So with that being said, I stopped using the walker by Saturday. 4 days, 5 days post-op, I'm done with the walker. No longer using the walker. But what I was saying was I noticed that the sciatica pain was still there, affecting me. But it wasn't. It was different. It was different than how I went in. It was a little different. I won't say it was a whole lot different. It was different. It wasn't the same, and it was when I went in, because of the sciatica pain and my things like that. The sciatica pain when I went in was affecting my right leg. Before I went in was affecting my right leg. For those that don't know, this is what I meant to tell you. Sciatica pain is like, for those that have never felt it and wonder what it feels like. It's like when your leg or your arm falls asleep. You know how that nerve feeling, that feeling you get. That's what sciatica pain feels like, but times 10. That's what it feels like. But anyway, and sciatica pain was setting in, and it had set in. I mean, it was coming up again and started hurting again, and it was only for me. Now, my sciatica pain before the surgery, I would only feel it when I would stand for long periods of time or walk for a long period of time. That's when the sciatica would bother me the most, and it would go from 0, 1, 2 to all the way up to a 10 plus as far as pain levels. That's what would happen. That was prior to the surgery. Now this time, when I'm talking about it after the surgery, it would hurt. It would probably be about a 7 or 8, but it was not only just me walking. While I was walking, I could feel the sciatica pain, or the nerve pain, should I say. The nerve pain in the same leg, the right leg, I feel it when I'm sitting down, laying down, all of that. Now, and it's like I said, this is probably about 3 or 4 days, probably 5 days post-op when I was feeling that. And it would come and go. It wasn't something like it was sporadic. It wasn't all the time. But I felt it, and then I had some nerve type pains here and there, like in my glute area, here and there. So I don't, and I'm gonna ask my doctor. I have a follow up with my doctor who performed the surgery this upcoming Wednesday, so the 22nd. So I'm gonna ask him and find out more details, and I'll probably come back and let y'all know what exactly happened. But that nerve pain came and went a couple of times. I haven't had it. Well, the last time I had it probably was about 2 days ago, I want to say. And again, don't forget, I'm 14 days post-op. But I will say one of the major things about this, since the surgery, from the time in which I had the surgery, Monday, the 6th of July, leading up to today, July the 20th, 14 days post-op, every single day has been a drastic change of success or healing. Every day. Like every single day. Only day I could say probably was day one of post-op wasn't, you know, a drastic change, but every day after that, it was just progress. The progression was like today, today, listen, let me tell you, today I'm at, my pain level is definitely probably like a 1, if that. It may not even be a 1, but I still feel not the pain, but I still have my stitches in. My stitches have not come out yet. I don't know. I guess I could show y'all what it looks like. Hopefully y'all can see it. My stitches aren't out yet. My stitches aren't out. So I get my stitches out on the 22nd. So, yeah, I'm real. Right now, I'm good. When I say I'm good, I am good. Like right now, I'm good. I told you how long ago I've taken meds. Haven't had meds in a while. My biggest issue now is trying to sleep through the night because I haven't been able to do that since the surgery. But other than that, walking fine. One thing I will say though, I am walking fine, but I cannot stand for long periods of time yet. And I think that's just a part of, you know, the process of recovery. I just had my back muscles, I don't think have gotten strong enough to be able to withstand standing for long periods of time. Right now, I probably can stand for probably maybe 15, maybe 20 minutes tops before I need to like sit down or whatnot. But for the most part, everything else, I'm doing fine. Now, I have not left the house since my surgery, since the 8th when I came home. I have not left the house. They not once. I have not been outside my house. So Wednesday will be the first time in which I've left the house for my follow-up. So I haven't left the house. So I've just been here and just, you know, just trying to, you know, recover the best way I know how. And I feel like I've done great. Have been some things in which I probably shouldn't have done, I'm sure. You know, it's hard trying to stay disciplined on something that you're not normally used to doing. But for the most part, I'm doing great. It's too early to say if the surgery was a complete success because, like I said, 14 days is just not enough time. I've heard a lot of people saying, you know, giving updates from, you know, a week, 2 weeks, 6 months, 3 months, 9 months, a year, so forth and so on. So it's a process. And I blame a lot of the nerve of, you know, the nerve that I was talking about, the sciatica nerve that was bothering me after post-op, during post-op. I blame a lot of that because I heard and I've been told or listened to people say that if you've been dealing with that nerve pain, that sciatic pain for so long, that it takes a little time for it to recognize that it's no longer being affected like it was prior to. So it's like almost like a, you know, almost like something similar to a withdrawal or something like that. So everyone in which I've heard talk about it says it just takes time. It's not something that's going to just happen overnight. And I've you know, kind of instilled that in my head to know that, you know, it's a process. It's recovery and it's going to take some time for it to do what it needs to do. And so I'm gonna wait for that time. But I can't wait to hear what my doctor has to say at my follow-up. Again, amazing staff who did the procedure. Everybody from, you know, the anesthesiologist to the doctor himself, all of them did an amazing job. And I can't thank them enough for what they've done so far. So yeah, why did I choose 14 days? I don't know. I wanted to do it a week last Monday, but I just didn't get around to doing it. And I don't know why. I wanted to do it last Monday and I do it. And today I felt like today I should go ahead and do it. So that's just me. I'd say I'm gonna do something, then I don't do it the way I plan on doing it. So here it is 14 days later. But I definitely wanted to get on here and allow people who may be looking to have the same type of surgery as I had, a laminectomy, L4, L5, S1. Just wanted to give you some insight. Do get the hip replacement kit that you can get it on Amazon. They have a lot of things. They'll tell you probably when you go into or when you come out of surgery and stuff. They gave me all type of reading material, stuff to look forward to, all that before the surgery and everything. So get that though if you can. If you know you're about to have a laminectomy surgery, back surgery or whatever, go ahead and get the hip replacement kit. It's definitely helpful, especially if you're somebody that may be home by yourself a lot or something like that. It helps with putting on your socks. I got a grab tool. I wish I would have brought it in here. Then next video, I'll show you my grab tool. So you don't have to bend. You just use it and it picks up things perfectly for you. Use it to put on your clothes and stuff like that. I've showered a few times now. I don't have, as I just showed you, I showed you the incision. I don't have the bandage over my back no more. They had a little monitor. And what did that monitor? I don't even know what this monitor did. It had a little monitor on my back, on me. And it was on me for about 7 or 8 days. I think I took it off like last Tuesday or Wednesday or something like that. I was on for a while. And it was like it monitored it was almost as though, from what my wife said and how it felt, it was like how they covered it up. It was like vacuum sealed. It was like whatever they put over my back, this little monitor thing, I guess, let you know when the seal was broken or whatever, or if it was if it was becoming unsealed. But it was like vacuum sealed onto my back, like that way, I guess no water, nothing could seep. If I were to sweat or something like that, it would be no way that the sweat would be able to get into the incision because it was sealed to my back. It was like a second layer of a skin. It was crazy. But as you see, we've taken all of that off, so now there's nothing over the incision whatsoever. One thing I will ask, because I asked my doctor prior to, because in my family, we have very bad scar tissue and we keloid real easily. And so I explained that to my doctor prior to the surgery, and I asked him, I said, how long or how big the incision would be. And he explained it would be about like that big or so. Well, as y'all can see, it's way bigger than that, which freaked out my daughter, I have a 10-year-old daughter, and my wife. When they took the vacuum sealed off and actually seen the incision, they was like, wow, that's long. And I was like, they had to take a picture of it and show it to me. I was like, he didn't say it was going to be that long. So that's another question which I just have to add. That's just something for me. I'm sure he has a reason why, or maybe he misjudged how he measured it with his finger. I don't know. Either way, we're going to find out on Wednesday. But yeah, if you have any questions, please just feel free in the comments below here on YouTube. Feel free to ask. I'll try to answer any questions in regards to my surgery into my laminectomy, L4, L5, and S1. I'll try my best to answer any questions you may have, because I know how I felt. I know how it was for me trying to prepare for something like this surgery, and just not knowing what to expect. If I can help, I'll be glad to help in any way possible. But I will keep y'all updated. I'm gonna try to do my best to update y'all as much as I can, and as often as I can. Like I said, my follow-up is Wednesday, so I'm gonna try and come back to y'all and let y'all know what he said. I gotta get my stitches out, so I'll let y'all know what he said and things of that nature once I've gone to that follow-up. But until then, man, thank y'all so much. I really appreciate y'all, man. And God bless. And again, if you have any questions, please feel free to put them down at the bottom in the comments, and I'll try my best to answer them. Again, it's your boy, Sean Davis. I'll holler back at y'all. It's Side Row 5 Military Fraternity Incorporated, and I'm out. Peace.